In fact, as I count slowly backwards, as I start counting back from 5 to 1, just let yourselves relax even more with each and every number I count. Imagine that. Every number, just feel yourself getting more and more deeply relaxed. Imagine that. More and more deeply relaxed. So relaxed and comfortable that by the time I reach the number 1, your bodies are as limp and as loose and as relaxed as a handful of loose rubber bands. Loose and limp and relaxed like rubber bands, like rag dolls. Loose and limp and relaxed, totally relaxed by the time I reach the number 1. Beautiful. 5. Take a really deep breath. Breathe in deeply. Fill your lungs with air, and as you exhale, slowly drop deeper, 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 deeper to sleep. Loose and limp, loose and limp, loose and limp. Excellent. Muscles in your feet and legs. Feet and legs, loose and limp, loose and limp, loose and limp. Loose and limp. Beautiful. Now let's drop even deeper. 4. Feel the muscles in your stomach and back. Dropping deeper. Stomach and back. Loose and limp. Loose and limp. Very deep. Very deep. Very deep. Very deep. Very deep. Very relaxed. Beautiful. Now let's go even deeper. 3. Your arms heavy and limp. Heavy and limp. Heavy and loose and limp. As I lift your arm, heavy and loose and limp. Beautiful. Heavy and loose and limp, deeper. Beautiful. Sleep. Deeper, deeper, way down deep. Deeper and deeper, way down deep. Beautiful. 3, 2. All the muscles in your neck, all the muscles in your face and jaws, all the muscles in your forehead and temples. You're dropping deeper, 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 deeper. And 1. Sleep. Drop into a deep sleep. You're doing beautifully. You're concentrating perfectly now. And you'll notice every single breath takes you deeper. Every single breath you take helps you to become more relaxed. From this moment forward, any sounds you hear from the audience, from this moment forward, any sounds you hear are only going to help you to drop deeper into relaxation. The sounds you hear from the group or the audience, every sound just helps you to go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper to sleep. Let my voice take you really deep. Let my voice do all the work. Deeper. Feel it. Deeper, 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 deeper. Beautiful. Keep going deeper and deeper until I ask you to awaken. By way of lesson, these folks, as I mentioned, very good visualizers. Somewhere along the line, they've probably been hypnotizing themselves for years. You ask a good visualizer to visualize their arm connected to a balloon, and the arm will rise quite dramatically up into the air. Observe what happens when you ask good visualizers to visualize their bodies as loose and as relaxed as a handful of loose rubber bands. Net result, almost perfect relaxation. Absolutely sleep deeply. Absolute zero tension in these folks' bodies. You know, you can't get much more relaxed than this and still be breathing. These folks are as relaxed as human beings can be. There's a message here. There are tremendous benefits to learning to master this technique. You talk about the recipe for success. I really do think one of the ingredients, one of the keys, is the ability to stay focused over long periods of time. This is an excellent technique for doing exactly that. I'm sure you've heard people that stop smoking, that lose weight, that stop biting their nails by using these visualization techniques. Well, you can use these techniques to stay focused on your business goals. You can take a target in your mind, an income or a commission level, really start focusing on it over and over until it embeds, until it becomes part of your subconscious mind. So that's a benefit. But of all of the benefits of this technique, all the benefits, isn't this the most practical benefit? Remember I said I promised they'd be more relaxed than they've been in years? This is why. This is total relaxation. Wouldn't it be nice if you could learn to do this deliberately? Wouldn't it be nice at the end of a really nutty day if you could go lay down or sit down somewhere, take a few deep breaths, the net result, the end result being this type of relaxation? I've been doing this for 23 years. I can't tell you how many cards and letters and emails I've gotten from people that have mastered this. And the comments are very similar. I sleep better at night. I feel like my concentration's improved. My stomach problems have disappeared. I don't get tension headaches anymore. If you do nothing else but learn this part of it, you're way ahead of the game. But there's a lot more than just the relaxation. These people are incredibly relaxed because in their mind they are visualizing their bodies as relaxed as a handful of loose rubber bands. What's the opposite of relaxation? Does it make sense that if we were to change the picture in their mind, change it to a different image instead of loose rubber bands, alter the image, we should alter the performance, shouldn't we? That's pretty much the gist of today's presentation. Change the way you think about yourself. Think of yourself as a true professional, you'll act like a true professional. Think of yourself as a high producer, you'll go out there and start throwing up some high producing numbers. If you think of yourself as average, if you think of yourself as inadequate, if you think of yourself as afraid, you'll tend to hold yourself back. Change the picture, change the performance. Let's change the picture, see what happens. In a moment, as I extend your arm in front of you, as I extend your arm, use your imagination. Am I doing that? How you doing? That's okay. Sleep deeper, 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 deeper. How you doing, ma'am? You okay? Good. Sleep. Deep, 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 deep sleep. Loosen up, loosen up. Wait on deep. Deep sleep. Wait on deep. Sleep. Wait on deep. Loosen up. Wait on deep. Wait on deep. What am I doing? Am I doing that? By bending down, I'm doing that? Okay. All right. Let's change. Let's change the picture and see if it changes the performance. As I extend your arm, imagine that arm is getting stiff and rigid. As I extend your arm in front of you, use your imagination, stiff and rigid. Concentrate now. I'll try to do this in a slightly different way. Stiff and rigid like a steel bar. You're doing perfectly. Stiff and rigid. Concentrate now. Stiff, rigid like a bar of steel. Use your imagination, stiff and rigid, stiff and rigid, stiff and rigid, stiff and rigid like a steel bar. Concentrate. Stiff and rigid like a bar of steel welded to your shoulder. Excellent. I'm going to start counting again back from 3 down to 1. With each number, you will feel the arm getting even more rigid, even more stiff and rigid. So stiff, so rigid, by the time I reach number 1, you'll discover you cannot lower or bend that arm. No matter how hard you try, no matter what you do, that arm simply will not go down until I clap my hands. It just keeps getting more rigid and more stiff until I clap my hands. 3, stiff and rigid. 2, like a bar of steel, welded to your shoulder. Stiff and rigid, 3, 2, and 1. So rigid and stiff now, even as you try to lower the arm, you'll discover it will not go down. And I want you to try. In fact, I want you to feel it's important, but you'll discover the harder you try to press down, the more stiff and rigid it becomes. Notice, even as I press on it, even as I'm pressing on it, stiff and rigid, you're not trying hard enough. Stiff and rigid, rigid like a bar of steel. Stiff, rigid like a steel bar. Stiff and rigid and stiff. Sir, what is your name? If you don't mind me asking, yes. Paul? Paul, you got that. I don't believe what I'm seeing. Look on your eye. Come on. Help me out for a minute, will you? We're going to walk to the back, and Paul, we're going to do the guys first. We're going to do the guys first for a reason. Would you press on that gentleman's arm and report to the group what that feels like in terms of degree of rigidity? Give it a good shot so they can see you're not faking it. That's pretty darn stiff and rigid. Would you agree? And we're going to do the guys first, as I mentioned, for a reason. Press on that gentleman's arm, if you don't mind. And the same here. Would you all agree that they're all pretty darn stiff and rigid, right? You can press on all of them if you want, but we picked the guys first for a reason. We've always been taught that women have less upper body strength than men. One could reasonably expect that a female should be less able to do this little test of strength than a guy would. You'd simply expect the women not to be as strong. However, let's start over here. Would you press on this lady's arm, report to the group what that feels like when you press down on it? Is she pretty darn stiff and rigid? It's amazing, isn't it? And please feel free. And would you agree? Tell the group what that feels like, Paul. Is that?
It's solid.
It's pretty solid, right? And over here, if you don't mind. Okay. Now, one of the reasons I asked you to come up here, actually asked you to come up here for 2 reasons. One was that you had that I don't believe what I'm seeing look on your eyes. That was the first reason. Here's the second reason. Would you try to imitate what these folks are doing? Would you try to make your arm that stiff and rigid? You just felt theirs, and you try to make yours. Are you doing it? All right. First thing I'm going to point out, I'm going to use 2 fingers here. I don't think that's even close, Paul. Is it? Everybody's watching. Okay, go ahead. Let's see. Take as long as you need. Now, do any of you know what he's doing that they're not? Did you see him purse his lips? See him kind of throw his shoulders back? Now, I'm going to exaggerate it, but didn't he kind of get everything involved? Please notice that's not what these folks are doing. Nothing has changed except the part they're concentrating on. The rest of the body is just really as relaxed as it could possibly be. The only part that's affected is the part they're focusing on it, and that part is affected quite dramatically. That's the second difference. Here's the third difference. Would you take, hold your arm out there, take as long as you need. How does it feel hanging it out there? These individuals have had their arms hanging out there for going on 3, 4, 5 minutes with people coming up and pressing down on it. Try that when you go back home tonight. Try to hold your arm out in that weird position. My buddy over here at the end is my favorite. I mean, take a look at that position. Could you? This guy looks like he wants to fly, doesn't he? And you would have to feel this. I mean, it is unbelievable how much strength these people are exerting. Any of you who took physics in high school or